Okay, fine, guys. Let's start with our revision part of our WT session. Let the others join in later. As of now, only 12 participants. Okay, fine. Let's discuss about file handling functions of our first unit. File handling, PHP file handling functions. A very important question in your examinations also. So here you'll be dealing with various file handling functions which are all used. Each of it will be explained using one example each. So you can go through that. Now coming to the file handling function. As you know, always files are very much important in any programming wherein you'll be writing the data in the files and you'll need to transfer the data to the files. When you consider in between a client server communication, everything is in terms of files. So files are always said to be very important for any such kind of networks or any web applications. So we need to have files for different tasks. So the major PHP manipulating files are, because our first unit deals with PHP, we are writing or we are handling all these files and their functions using PHP language. Here we should see its syntax as well as its working. So when you consider PHP manipulating files, it has several functions for creating, reading, uploading, editing files. So what happens is whenever you say manipulation, it means that is used for updations, basically creations, uploading, editing, all these things comes under manipulation. So PHP is one language which had such features, such manipulation features, which can be performed over files. Okay, so while doing such things, one of it is using one of it is opening files. For opening files, we have something called as fopen function. We have something called as fopen function, and for that we'll have a program. We'll have a program. Coming to reading process, you have fgetS. What will happen in fgetS is handle length. FgetS is used for file name and determines the length of the file. So if you consider opening a file, here is an example. You'll be writing here like dollar handle determines variable name. Let us suppose it can be dollar file is equal to fopen of some file name in whichever mode it is. When you are doing file open operation, in whichever mode it is, you will be writing the file. So fopen, the parameters are fopen are file name and its and the mode in which the file has to be opened. If we write it as W, that means it should be open in write mode so that you will be able to edit the data. But here we are simply saying it is R mode, which means that it is being opened in read mode. That means it will be used only to read the data. You can't update the data, you can't delete, modify, anything you can't do. You can just read the data. Okay, so while you are reading the data, where to where? Because the file whichever is opened by using fopen function is stored into some variable. So for that, where to where to read depends upon the condition here. For that, you are using a while condition, while mistake. Okay, so by using while conditional statements, you are writing the code. What are we saying? fgetS to get the data from this particular variable. What this variable carries? This variable carries this data txt file.txt data, which is in read mode. Okay, and echo. If you remember in PHP, in order to print the data, you will be using a statement called as echo statement. Echo dollar, nothing but variable text and break. Okay, this is how why dollar, variable text, the data whichever is read from a file is stored into some other variable again, because you are using it into the in the file what condition. That's why we have written here like this. So this is one function which is used for reading. Coming for Next function, that is, we have seen fopen, fgets. Now fgetc. Fgetc is nothing but get character. Fgetc is for get character file. So what is this? What is this function used for? File handling function. This is used to get the data. So in order to get the data from where? From a file. So always whenever you wanted to perform certain things on the file, first of all it should be opened. First of it should be opened. Hence you write the statement f open. When you open the file and you are saying you just wanted to get the data from a file, as a result you can just open the file in read mode. And once you open the file in read mode, it will be stored into some variable. Okay, again start. What to start? Get the character from this particular file where it is stored. It is stored into some other variable. So get character. Get character. Next, that means using get C, you'll be getting character by character, and get as you'll get the entire text from where to where you mention by using the condition. Next thing is reading the whole file at once by using this particular function file underscore get underscore contents. The syntax of this must be specified as it is. You are not supposed to modify anything. Okay, file get contents from the required file. So that you'll be storing into some variable. Our file, the file whichever we have, or our file whichever we are trying to get the data is from file.txt. What do you want to do with this file? I wanted to get all the contents of this file. So file get contents. And this particular operation is stored into a variable. And this is the code relating to that. What are we saying? We wanted the entire file. So this is just some code which is used to get the data from file and echo this particular thing. Okay, that means here what it means is replace next line by using er and then give the entire content of the file. Echo print what? Print the variable which even this is not required. I'm telling you, even this is not required. You can simply write echo dollar text file. Okay. Next, reading a file into an array with the file function. Reading a file into an array. So when you say reading a file into an array with file, the parameter for file function here is file name. Same file.txt. So what we want to do we wanted to read the data from the file and put it into an array. So $data is equal to file.txt is the file name. So you wanted to read this entire file which is in variable data. Okay. For each, if you remember your Java programming, when you are dealing with your C or your Java earlier, you had something called as for each, which is used for reading each value always. So data as because data is considered this file name echo this dollar value variable line. This is used to read a file into an array with the file function. Next, closing a file. How do, because we have opened it till now, so now we are closing the file. And we close the file. Yeah, closing the file. So when you say we are closing the file, when we say we are closing the file, you use a function called as fclose. What to close? Some file. Where is that file? It is opened and stored into a variable called handle. Okay, so using this while till if it is not end of the file, you take the data from the file, get the data from the file, output that particular data whichever is read, and then close the file. This is how it works. Or simply you can open it as well, you can close the file. Okay, but what I did here is I opened a file, I started reading the data from the file, and the data which is read is stored into some other file, some other variable, and I am printing that variable and then closing so that you'll understand what will actually happen. Okay. Checking is the file with file exists, whether the file exists or not by using file underscore exists. In that also, you need to give even the file. That also you need to give even the file. Okay. Yes, coming to, let me take this picture of yours. Coming to this thing next, file size. You, if you wanted to know the size of the file, then file size. So what is that? You will be identifying the file is by using file size of that file name. Okay, just simply I wanted to show that this got executed. So the file size is of file. Okay, next, reading binary file. Wait. If you wanted, if you had any binary file, you'll be using this function. An important. This is an important part. This is an important part in your exam. Reading binary file with F. Reading binary file with F. What are you doing there in F? It is your data, your file name, and its length. Okay, so even for this, you have to open the file in, and then you start using this function. The data output of this is stored into variable text. What is the thing you want length? How to find out the length of the file by using file size? That is what happened here. Okay, and then it was handled. This is, even if this is not there, it's okay. Text, and then F close handle. Okay, this is how you read the file from in binary form. Next, getting file info with the stat. Stat is a function which is used to get the file. Stat is a function which is used to get the file with stat file name only in Unix. Only in Unix. Setting the file pointer's location with the F6. This will be used. Start function is used only in Unix. Nowadays we are not using Unix. That is why we are not describing about that. And I hope you remember that we are working on Ubuntu operating systems, any of the programs. So you just understand what is it. That's it. Next, setting the file pointer's location with fseek. Fseek is, as you know, if you have remembered your C programming language, there also you used fseek function. Fseek function is used to set the file pointer's location. So fseek, what and are all the things here? Handle, offset, start point. These are the parameters. This is also an important 2 marks question. fseek, reading from the binary file, all these things, because these are the things where students commit mistakes. So fseek, handle, offset, and start point. Seek, set the beginning of the file, determines the beginning of the file, seek the current pointer location, and seeking the end of the file. Okay, copying files with the copy function. Source, destination, from where to where you wanted to copy. So from file, suppose if I wanted to copy from file 1 to file 2, this is the statement. Copy from file 1 to file 2. Okay, next, delete files with unlink. Unlink, when you use unlink here, if it is in Unix operating systems, it will be remove, REMOVE will be for deleting the files, but here it is unlink. Unlink of file name. If you say this, that particular file will be deleted. If this is existed, you say it existed, otherwise it got deleted. You will check it. Okay. Next, writing to your file with fwrite. Fwrite is used for, fwrite is used to write to a file if you wanted to write some data. But till now we have seen only reading the data. That is why whenever you open, you're opening the data in read mode. But now I wanted to write the data. So I'm saying I'm using fwrite function. So first of all, for that I need to open the file in write mode, telling that there are permissions to write in this file. How do you write? You can't just go there and write. If you wanted to write it through the terminal, you will be using this fwrite file name comma whichever text you wanted to do, you will be doing. That is what. Okay. Next, appending to files with fwrite. Appending to files with fwrite. That means you wanted to add a file to fwrite. And then fopen, here is some text, and fwrite, here will be appending. Writing a file all at once with the file put contents. Earlier we have seen file get contents, which is used to determine or read all the data from the file. Okay, but if you say file put contents, this is used to write a file all at once. This is used to write a file all at once. So file put get contents, file name comma data, file name comma data. This is how I'll be sharing this particular Word document to all of you for PHP file handling functions. So while reading or while going through, you just go through this material. It will be easy because all the list of all the functions is available at a slot. Okay, at a glance you can have, so you can go through, you can just even have the programs also. Okay. Fine. So this is how you will be writing the contents to the file. Next, locking files with flock. Flock. If you remember your DBMS, you will be locking certain things, certain transactions, data items on transactions. If you remember that, if two transactions are working concurrently on the same data item, there will be a mismatch in the data. As a result, in order to avoid such mismatch or lost updates, you will be using logs upon the data items. Okay, so there are two types of, if you remember there are two types of logs. One is shared log and the other one is exclusive log. Okay, if you remember, shared log is only used for reading purpose. So if at all, if a data item is available with a shared log, a log is available with a shared log on a particular data item, you can only read it. If you have exclusive log, that particular transaction which has allotted exclusive log can both read and write. Okay, so shared log and exclusive log are the two logs. That is why if you look here, you can set the operation to shared log like log underscore sh. You can set the operation to exclusive log like log underscore ex. So when you say shared log, that is used only for reading purposes, as we have discussed. So we say shared log. We are providing shared log using log of reader, and we are providing exclusive log using log of writer. To release a log, set the operation to log underscore un. So what happens is, if your transactions are working concurrently, you will be granting the logs, and after that you will be releasing the logs. Okay, so this is how it happens. So you can grant the logs either in shared mode or exclusive mode. Similarly, you can release the log. Whichever you release the log in PHP, it is log underscore un is the function. Okay, so how do you do that? In which operation? F log. This is not log. This is F log. That means file the log on some file. Handle is nothing but the variable in which we are storing our opened file. So dollar handle, that is nothing but handle comma operation, whether it is in shared log or exclusive log, or you are performing, you are not giving any, you are releasing from a shared or exclusive log. This is what, yes. Okay. Next, so you should remember that. You should remember that. Is that clear, everybody? So this is how shared log or exclusive logs. This is how we can provide logs. And coming to here, we are saying that F open, we have seen read, R is for write. This read R plus determines used for both reading and writing. W is also open for reading and writing. If file doesn't exist, attempt to create it. Do not exist, attempt to create it. A is for appending. A plus, this is used for reading and writing, starting at the end of the file. If first file doesn't exist, attempt to create it in append mode. See, we think that append mode is used only for appending, I mean adding the files to the end of the other file. But if there is no file like that, even then you can create it. Okay. Uh, X is used to create and open for writing only. If file already exists, the F open call will fail by returning false because you need to open now. And suppose if it is already open, we'll generally see this even in our opened in our Word documents. What will happen? They will try. It is already open, but we forget about it, and we again go back to the actual location where it is located, and we try to open it again. Okay, when that is the case, it will tell you it is already open, and it will not open 2 to 3 times. Okay, that particular scenario is this X. Okay. Next, X plus create and open for reading and writing. Similarly, even if a file already exists, F open will create return false. Okay. But if you remember, in one of our this particular class, you had a F open file name, comma, RB. R is for read mode. What is that B there? That B is for binary because that particular discussion came when reading the data, when reading the file in terms of the binary digits. There we had the discussion. So RB determines reading the data binary. Okay, this is what happens. One second. Yes, reading the data for binary purpose. Here it is read R plus W plus and then X plus A plus. Okay, coming to the next F read and F close. Okay, what is F read? F read is used to read and F close will be used for closing the opened file. If suppose, can you have an option like closing an unopened file? No. How can you close because it is not yet open? Okay. So what you do is file handling functions question is must. It will be asked for at least 7 marks, 8 marks like that. If all the things are asked. So this entire things along with the syntax, write a small program and try to show up all these, what do we call, all these functions. Okay. See, F close. F close. This is a code PHP my file. We are first opening, storing the data, storing the opened file in read mode into my file uh, variable, and then we are closing the file. PHP read single line fget. Single line is fget is used for reading the single line. Okay, so this is how file EOF determines end of file. Okay, PHP read single character. Yeah, gets you after one after the other, so it will be moving from one file to the other file. Okay, so there is, see, if you can look here, we have written something called as new file.txt. Let us suppose we wrote it twice. Let us suppose we wrote it twice. Then in that case, each time we wrote this file, we send the string and second content. After we finish writing, we close the file. If you open a new file, PHP overwriting will be done. PHP overwriting will be done upon the upon that particular file. So be careful that overridings doesn't come across. Okay, PHP file upload. Here you will be uploading the files. Okay, this is a simple program. And one more thing, when all these questions, when all these are asked, you can either write as a list about all the, what do we call, all these functions, and then in a single program you can write reflecting all these functions, no issues, even that is okay. Or else if you feel I'm comfortable with writing only this way, you can write it one after the other, even that doesn't matter. You see, here is the program with all the files one after the other. Is this clear? This is what is PHP file handling functions. This is from Unit 1, very important question, at least for which bears about 7 to 8. If your question is for 15 marks, this will bear for 7 to 8 marks. That is one. So better go through. Okay, and make sure that you are knowing this particular question clearly. Whenever a question is asked in WT, because it deals with programming language, if it is asked in terms of some programming construct, better write a program. That will be the best. That will be the best option to finish up and get score good marks. As well, don't leave any what do we say? Any 2 mark questions. You should write. You should attempt 2 marks questions always, because 2 marks are too much. 2 marks are, see, as I correct or as I go through many this thing, many papers, I found students getting passed mark through 2 marks questions besides writing essay questions, because they are not very confident enough in giving the answers that we can understand clearly. Okay, but when we look at descriptive, we feel this guy couldn't be passed. But once I come to the 2 marks session of his paper, those 2 marks are playing a major role in making the student pass in the examination. So you people try to cultivate that habit. Never leave any 2 marks question. Even if you know at least one word, try to describe about that one word within 2 lines, not more than that also. Not more than that. No one is going to read all that. See, when a question is asked for 2 marks, it should be in terms of 2 marks only, not more than that. Okay. So be careful while writing programs, while writing any answer. Make sure that you are attempting a program for that. So this is one of the best topics from your first unit, PHP file handling functions. Basically, if you remember, in web technologies, we learned about PHP, JavaScript, XML, HTML. Of course, HTML is not in the syllabus, but we had to deal with in order to make you people understand about XML and XHTML and all. Okay, all these, the combination of all these languages is nothing but our WT subject, web technologies subject. Is that clear, guys? I'll be sharing this information with you. I'll be sharing this document. It's here. And let me get some text message from you people, whichever is not available with you. I'll give you that data. Is that clear? Okay, fine, guys. Hope you all understood today's session clearly. Anyways, this is revision. So, fine. I'm ending